Anybody have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Michael Carrick both returning to Manchester United on their 2026 bingo card? Yeah, me neither. So much has happened in a whirlwind 72 hours that it's hard to keep on top of. But we need to have a chat about Solskjaer, Carrick, what the news is, and the caretaker head coach role. Definitely got a few things to say about this. None of us could have predicted that this was going to be the start to 2026 for Manchester United, but here we are, and it's happening. So I'm going to be speaking about what actually is going on. I'm going to speak about Solskjaer, give you my opinion on him, potentially being United's caretaker manager for the second time, the pros and the cons. Speak about Carrick, speak about Fletcher, speak about the overall situation. And you can let me know in the comments, all right? What do you think about Solskjaer? What do you think about Carrick? And who is your choice, all right? Now, first things first, I want to say this before I get into this video. The fact that we are in this position again as a football club is a crock of shit. It's a bad situation, all right? We've sacked our second manager in a few years, mid-season, because of bad decisions and wrong decisions. I'm not happy that my football club is in this position again, okay? Off the bat, that's what I'm saying. But we are here. So what is the right steps forward? I can sit and moan about the things that happened if you want to. It's not going to change anything. Let's speak about what is next. And now the club is in talks with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over the role. Okay, they've already held talks with him, and they're going to be holding talks with Michael Carrick. Now, Ruud van Nistelrooy hasn't been completely ruled out, but it very much looks like it's a two-horse race between Solskjaer and Carrick. So give me a few minutes to speak about both. And I want to speak about Solskjaer first, because the reaction to the concept of Solskjaer coming back in as caretaker manager until the summer. Mate, I'm all aboard. I'm all aboard. And I want to explain exactly why. I can't even sit on the fence in this one, right? I've seen some saying, well, I know, Solskjaer's been sacked before. You can't bring him back. This is United going backwards. And this United have already gone backwards by sacking Amorim. We're now in a situation where we cannot appoint somebody mid-season. Even if we could go and get the manager that we wanted right now, tomorrow, I wouldn't want that manager appointed until the summer. Sod that. No, sod that, man. Bring in a permanent manager in the summer, man. Hence why we need somebody to navigate between now and the end of the season. I still think that Solskjaer is the best candidate for that. He's done it before. Mate, those 3-4 months, I know that you're kind of stepping into nostalgia here, but man, those 3-4 months, boy, that's the most we've enjoyed football post-Fergie. Would Solskjaer coming in be a lot of vibes? Yes. Is that what we need? That might be what takes us to the Champions League spots. I still stand by the fact that I think this squad is good enough for the Champions League spots. Quite a few of you disagreed in the live show, but we can agree to disagree. The way that this Premier League is going this season, they're up for grabs for whoever can put a run of results together. I think the fair questions around Solskjaer actually exist about coaching. Was McKenna and Carrick doing everything before? I think he'd need the right support staff, but I think he'd be the right man to lead us through the shit period again. Yeah, I think you could argue for Carrick. For being honest, I think you could. I don't know whether Carrick would be willing to... Because there's a possibility, right? There is a possibility that both of them stay at Manchester United. But I don't know whether Carrick himself would be willing to be Solskjaer's number 2 again. I think he's progressed as a manager since being Ole's assistant with the time he's had at Middlesbrough, and I think he considers himself a number 1 anymore. But honestly, I think my main feeling towards this is I'm a bit confused by some of the widespread negativity and reaction to the idea of Solskjaer coming back. I'm like, show me other candidates. Carrick might be one of them. Probably is one of them. I mean, is the only one. That's why United are in talks with both of them. But this is a very specific role, man. The one thing that's annoying me is people are saying no to Solskjaer because they fear that he's going to have a good few months again and he's going to get another permanent contract. I just don't see how there's even 1% chance of that happening. I know Ineos have made some big-ass mistakes so far. But that won't happen. It just won't happen. No matter what the results are between now and the end of the season, because we've had precedent of giving Solskjaer a contract and we've walked out. We've seen that film. We've gone down that path. I've always maintained that if there was one manager I would love to be back at Manchester United, to be working in an environment where he's actually got support and structure and a football director and a CEO who actually knows football, then I would consider it Solskjaer. And that's the position I'm in now. That's why I want Solskjaer to be manager between now and the end of the season. I genuinely think we can get Champions League football. Do I think that his tactics are going to make us a masterclass? No, but I don't particularly think he needs to. I think whoever comes in, just play a pretty damn basic 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 system. Stay tight and not stay defensive, but hit fast on the counter. Play direct football when you need to. Just play fucking good football. Simplify things. And I think Solskjaer could do that. I think Carrick could do that. I think both of them could do that. But my choice will be Solskjaer. And I really don't think this can be ruled out that Fletcher's involved in the coaching setup in some capacity. I don't think that, even if Fletcher, we go and play Burnley and he smashes them 6-0, and then we go and play Brighton and we smash them 4-0. I don't think that Fletcher will be in contention for the caretaker role until the end of the season. Not the head role, maybe down there as an assistant. Maybe he goes back down to the under-18s. I don't quite know. But of the two choices, I'm still going for Solskjaer. And I find it really odd that the amount... Maybe I'm being unfair in saying I find it really odd. Maybe I'm overlooking things. But he is the ideal candidate for the position we find ourselves in. I think it's because people are pissed off that we're in this position. Like I said at the start, I think it's a complete joke that we're in this position again. What do you mean? Solskjaer coming in as an interim manager or a caretaker manager after a manager's been sacked. Didn't we do that 5 years ago? Yeah, we did. But it doesn't... That feeling doesn't make me want to push Solskjaer away. I think he's the ideal person for that role. And I'd love to see it. Could it be Nostalgia FC? I think it absolutely would be. But I think that's all United have got right now. Truth be told. I'm not expecting any sort of tactical revolution between now and the end of the season. I just want to see United turn up and get results. Now there's going to be games, maybe if Solskjaer comes in, where he tactically gets outclassed by the opposition. That will probably happen. But Solskjaer is my choice. If it's Carrick, I'm not going to be annoyed. But Solskjaer will be my choice. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. But do you think I'm foolish to think that we can get Champions League football? I genuinely don't think I'm foolish, but you might disagree.